what your choices have been, and what karmic timelines and contracts you have journeyed. The light is calling for the reunification of all aspects of life in this realm now. It is calling for the cleansing of all polarities. It is calling for the rising of all sacred heart centers now. All are being summoned home to the greater light now.
Hi, and welcome everyone to Whole Soul Mastery and Whole Soul School and Foundation's joint podcast today, where we are back again with Dr. Terry Cole-Whittaker. But today we're going to move into a new series of podcasts that are all about empowering women to connect with, rediscover, and embrace the love, the power, and the goddess she holds within. My name is Marie Mohler, and I am an author, intuitive, and messenger of the powerful journeys that we engage to integrate and to live our whole soul mastery, our truest talents, the light within, and the joy of true self-expression. And I want to welcome you, Dr. Terry, to our podcast today, where we're going to explore some new topics. And in these next few podcasts, we've got some journeying to do today.
Well, we have so much good stuff. You know, since we were talking about in the last podcast about really the need for women to be able to not show up for women's gatherings just because that's what women do or have done or done before or whatever, but in the real of ancient times when there was no technology, things you don't really know about or hear about or think they were so-called primitive when highly advanced, because the people were with each other, and the women would go to the river to wash their clothes, just like going to the market and talking to other women and sharing, and their children growing up in this and all that. So we didn't need a psychiatrist, and they were barefooted on the soil. Being barefooted doesn't mean that you're poor. And I remember that song, "All God's Children Gotta Have Shoes." That was a program to make you take your feet into the heart and pound the cement. You know what I'm saying? So it's what we want to be looking at now is because of how the changes are happening. Okay, and what it is I've found that success is our ability to empower, enrich, and inspire others by solving their problems, and for you to be adept to an ever-changing world. And the key is here for us, the spiritually minded, spiritual seekers, who really in our hearts truly are God's children, and that wonderful combination of our male-female qualities that is the result of the love affair of God. You might call it the heaven or the sun or the idea, and then we are, and the concept, and we are the one who takes that concept and the magic who brings that alive in every aspect of God's life. Of beauty and harmony and love and creativity. And that kind of love is who we are and who we come from. And so there's changes in the world. We've all had that in our families. We've all had it in different things. And we're going to have to know how to deal with ourselves and others, in a sense, by some really basic things. And with some basic things and some really good, points to follow to then do our work. We're working together because we're not looking for members. We're looking for participants, people who want to play, people who together want to know that we support ahimsa and kindness for animals and humans and mammals and living entities that of Mother Earth's creations. Because we have blood, we are the soul, we are feeling beings, and in the Vedic teachings we go through could be 800 million, they say, and 400,000 species of creatures in whatever is this vast potential of, you would say, what would be this realm. So you want to know, what is this realm? And so what I did is I looked to see what was the basic things. And it was the Hermetic Axioms. And I write about it in my book, Live Your Bliss. And the Hermes, it was actually Thoth, who was an Egyptian. And Thoth is thought. Remember that. Thoth is thought. Thought, right? Thought. Okay, so these 7 Hermetic Axioms are actually the formula that you practice in so-called metaphysics, or what you see. These are basic laws. No, they're explanation of the one main force, power, how this world operates, and the reality is projected and experienced. Okay, so you see, that's what you want to look at. So, it very first one then says that although these 7 axioms may appear as separate principles, they are aspects of the universal formula. Remember, a formula is like making something, right?
Right.
You're putting things together. This world, and take a look, let's have another lesson on words. World, take the L out and you have word. You see?
Right.
Yes. Take the S off of slaughter, and what do you have? Laughter.
Oh.
And it tells you the snake, and snake isn't particularly a snake. It can be a collection of people who operate like a snake. So you have to look at things from a lot of different angles. So anyway, the universal formula for this reality, this word reality, is cause and effect. And simply, the axioms explain have a more detailed of how this works. And the very first one then is as above, so below. Okay, now that's what most people think, that as above, so below. But the truth is, as within, so without. You are a master of the formless. We as women are the spiritual magic, the natural carrier of the creativity and the pleasure of God. And so that's why the goddess is adored and appreciated and acknowledged and loved, and even her name is before the supreme, the male source. So, and you'll see that when we get down to the 7th axiom, which I'm not going to cover here because they're in my book, but you'll see that there's only really one, but there's gender in everything. And gender is another, as within, so without, because what is penetration of the yoni and the what is it? The other Shiva. So Shakti. So Shakti and Shiva. So what you see in this world, everything is a duality, meaning everything is produced from within us.
Yes.
It isn't, and so you get messianic religions which make a mess. They're all waiting for a savior. Because what they have been, and so they're waiting, and they practice whatever they have learned or whatever, but they really have not gone to the point of really researching what they're doing or taking on, because baby, this is your life and you are eternity and you cannot die, but you will suffer everything that is in this reality, because this reality is set up for suffering. So you have to know how to transcend that by living from the spiritual reality. So then what we're going to do is, okay, quick, because we're going to go then, how do I then apply this to my life right now, as all is mind? Well, we're going to look, first of all, you got to make your mind a good place. You have to control that mind. That's why I teach courses, and I'm even now opening up to, because I've commandeered this vintage great hotel that is my hermitage. Wow. And I have and it's everything I want, where I can actually, people can come and stay for as long as they want, and they have their own room and their own little fridge and their all their stuff. They can get Wi-Fi. But this is, we're in the, not right deep in the woods, but we're surrounded by the woods in a little tiny village in the middle of nowhere. And there was I got one speck of snow fell on my hand a little while ago, because my cat likes this grass growing outside. It's so natural. I can go pull a piece of it and come, and she looks at the window and she gets so excited. And every time I go outside now, I got to bring this grass in here because she likes it so much. But anyway, yeah. So we're thinking about, okay, what we're talking about, the woman, really what we're here to do and what we're ready to do. And that we need to have not so much members about things, but those of us who in our hearts agree. And so if all is mind, and then we're going to look at, how we're going to manage ourselves from our spiritual place, to be able to actually be victorious, because you have to know now, the truth is, evil is gone. It left a long time ago, but people don't know what to do, so they keep holding on to it and believing it and filming it. But that's showing where those thought forms are going, because they're coming to us from a digital world. So this digital world is forming people's ideas of what true is or true isn't, but whoever can control the digital world, education, science, or anything, any of that, controls each person who is a God particle. It's like, why? Because how do you capture God? One God particle at a time.
Wow.
And yeah, so you got to take back your power. Remember, we were take back your life. You're going to take over. Okay, so now you go, you're always going to live. And when you drop this concept, you didn't go anywhere. It's just you're not perceiving this any longer, because you're either bored or you want a different body, you poison it, you threw it off of a building, I don't know, whatever you do with it. But anyway, having a physical body is in a sense, it's the actually topmost of what's possible for this reality, because you can contemplate God, your source, and you can love God. Not just God loves me, but you love God. God is a person. And what you find that is that people can't get that. And when you get to like the seventh Hermetic Axiom is everything is gender, you have male and female. You have a male plug with an electrical outlet and a female plug-in. This is how this system works. You can do it upside down, pervert it, make everybody think. But if people don't know how things are and who they are and what's possible, just now, not when you die in the sweet by and by, high in the sky somewhere, maybe. I mean, yeah, right. And it's like you have to be able to witness it, perceive that reality. So you have to question. And it's like people, like Marie and I, everybody, we question and then bring to you what we have. And you can work with us personally. We love that. That's great, because then you're going to get the greatest benefit, because you're going to get everything that we ever knew in our brief if you know how to ask the right questions.
Yes.
You have to ask the right questions, even from God. If we get then to, okay, we're going to get as above, so below. So what I want to say, it's really as within, so without. They're telling you the formula of this reality, not a spirituality. This world is not absolute. What it is a plane of relativity, because it's based on sides. one side or the other. So that's why it's like a teeter-totter. There's up and down. So whatever you do to others and what they suffer, animals or anything, I don't care who you think you are, what you mean, these are the laws of karma. And so those who maybe can prolong their lives for who knows never how in these bodies or whatever may be forever, it's like they have to live in hellish conditions. And they live from that because they have no idea or clue for some reason of the spirituality. It's already, you have ecstatic bliss and love and ecstasy. You have experiences. The more you love the divine God within, the more love you have. And it's not a business deal. It's not a business deal. There's no business involved. But it's where the goodies are. So
I'm taking in so much because these axioms are like, it's a template for life. Like it's a blueprint for living.
Read them down. Read each one of them and see each one of them. And I'll just quickly just say, remember, this is one side or the other. Okay. So they're trying to say as above, so below, meaning if we tell you, you have to do it below. No. My creation comes from within me.
Yes.
But God is the doer. I am the maidservant who delivers the deal.
Right. So even these axioms need these like upgrades on a whole other consciousness.
They're meant, but because they're for a mental plane. So since you know it's mental, you then have to, first of all, then transform your mind into a spiritual mind. Okay, because you have a mind.
Right.
So you transform it into a spiritual mind. Then your worst enemy becomes your best friend. But you have to do that. You have to do the work. So you see,
so you can get trapped. You can get a lot of people are trapped in the mind. So if we read that first Hermetic Axiom, the Hermetic Axiom says that all is mind, the universe is mental. And what you're saying that really means is all is consciousness.
No, not that it means. This universe is never all is consciousness. The universe is in your mind. It's not in you. It's in your mind. You're not your mind. That's a good one.
All right, that is a good one.
It doesn't mean that. It means the truth is all is consciousness. The lie is all is mind if people think it as spiritual. No, but he's telling you this world, this manifestation is all in your mind.
And
that's what it said.
Wow.
And anything you can think of is in your mind. So how does this mind operate? By words and suggestions. By programming.
That's how we project. That's how we project what's in our minds to be the creation, right?
Well, it projects through us. The body, I wrote a whole article on your body is a manifesting machine because it's based on sound. The body, the bones are the crystal network. Your breath, because I was trained as an opera singer from the greatest teacher, the maestro David Kyle, with the same system that produced Pavarotti, Beniamino Gigli, Maria Callas, because it's a system. So it's great. And so if we start to look at what is this world made of, is made of one principle called in and out and in and out, male, female, female, male, as above, so below. Everything moves. Everything has a specific vibration. Vibrations move. Fourth axiom, it says everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pairs of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All paradoxes may be reconciled. All is balanced in its office by its opposite. See, people think that, and so what do you do when you have two sides? Say we got two big teams now. They're all fighting and want to war because they want to slaughter. All of these two sides, They have to generate that because that energy is what keeps this system operating. And that system, you have to look at, well, why would someone want this system to operate? Then there's a whole lot of other questions. And I have a lot of answers for those too. And what happens, you get the same answers if you're open and you're willing to actually question and let go of everything you've ever been taught or believed, and stand strong in who you are. You see, so you could see opposites are the same, but they appear to be different, and they're creating each other. Ice age leads to global warming, just as one extreme creates other. But there is no global warming. How do you know? Someone tells you. Then they burn up the stuff to say, look, and everybody go, oh yeah, because the regular person out there has been processed through these machines that completely obliterate the feminine creative consciousness and obliterate the male ability and function to love and care for the woman and the children and the land, and they're turned into fighting. When they're sameness, they're the same and different, you see. But these are also showing, all of these stem from an absolute. The absolute of the first truth would be all is consciousness. So everything you perceive is consciousness, and even whatever that chair you're sitting on knows it's a chair, but it doesn't think it wants to be a car, but people do. I was telling Michael, I said, what if we had a group and some people wanted to be a carrot? Well, you can be a carrot. All right, go sit over there. You're a carrot. Really, what do carrots do? I know this one person, and I adore her and love her, but anyway, she really identifies with the male. But she doesn't do anything that you kind of think males would do, like, blah, because they're bigger and they're stronger and they got more stuff. No, it's like she wants, that's fine. She wants both those things, but I'm into form follows function. Everything here has a function. They're telling you what this function is. Thought this up. In the beginning was the word. See, there you go. In studying from the Vaishnava literature of the path that I love, this gives me the greatest happiness and pleasure and joy and knowledge that I've been seeking. But everything else that has its place, that has all been good and challenging, obviously. But in studying and some of the books, I'm finding where scriptures are changed to make the woman evil, and that's not what it said.
Right. Well, it's just more manipulation of the word.
It's the word. And remember, I mentioned that 800,000 years ago, and a comet came and stuff came, and I didn't finish that. What that was about, or maybe when we were talking, when in research, was the entity or energy or mind virus or us. I have no, whatever it is that entered this world or looked at it, how this thing could take us over because of who we are and what we are. And they found the only way, because they had to get us to agree, given that is a rule or a law, and whether and so then hypnotic trances are one way, all these other ways, but it decided the only way to control and consume, which they do, this reality, is the elimination of the woman, the real woman. That can actually conceive and a child and do that, because that's a miracle. When you take a look, there's this little thing in there, a little egg, and this little sperm comes swimming by, and all of a sudden turns into 9 months, out pops a human in a body. A divine being, a consciousness is in there. The mind does this. Okay, and so the spiritual isn't the same, because the spiritual is not a conception. And every human is an immaculate conception.
When you say
because
spirit isn't a conception, spirit is a vibration. It's a frequency?
Because you're putting there's no words. You feel vibrations. When I have
a feeling.
Experience, when I have an ecstatic experience, whatever it may be, these are complete feelings. Tears, all these states come really. I mean, I go, and that's why I'm now centering really. I'm changing my work thing to just really focus on what I know to be doing, and I'm on the home stretch here, and so my body turns by the calendars and stuff, 84 in a month or so, a little bit over. But anyway, how does that get you see? And so you've got this stuff working and people don't know what's going on. So polarity is always, so that's what relationship is. And everything has a pair of opposites. And that's why number one, you don't want to sometimes even verbalize what you're going to do or tell anybody, because you can immediately set up obstacles from your own mind. Remember when they said somewhere in the Bible, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing? Because your left hand is your female. And the right one is the male, see? Don't let your male know.
There's so much encoded in all the words and the symbology that few people really look beyond the words into what they were really said. It's just like all the pictures on the caves or all the artwork that we know. They were telling us the story, and then the certain texts and things have taken over and given us the interpretation of what they want us to know.
But maybe that wasn't it at all. And never doubt yourself. What you know, you know. Not what you think you know.
Right.
Not what you think you need to prove.
Yes. It's knowing and feeling, which is the truth. You're saying it's the absolute.
Yes, right.
Right?
That's right. That's because you are the absolute. Not the totality, because that's it's the fabric of your being.
Right.
So this place is basically a fabric of the mind. It's a fabrication. It's a simulation. Then you have to look at how or why. So then you have to go, well, where did all these kind of ideas come from? Well, humans don't think this way. You have to get back to what's basic with humans. Mother Earth. Mother. Ahimsa. Kindness. In fact, when you really love, when someone you love suffers, you comfort them. And Michael was like, because I went through like a meltdown yesterday or so before, and all this stuff got triggered. So it was, because I had asked for whatever it was to come up. I didn't know it was all this, and there's just still a lot I have to look at to see where, and to take it out, because it's there, or I wouldn't have gone bonkers. You see?
That was a big ask that you did,
Be careful what you told me. Be careful what you asked for, right?
Right. And
some people do that. It can blow you out of the water. But what happened is it triggered the thing with, I really choose to be detached from family. Not that I'm not there to love, but I'm not participating in their activities and what they do and what they think is important, because I ain't there anymore.
Right.
I love them, but I'm not here to save anybody. The basic deal is knowledge says that you could get it, you could have it, but whatever it was, all these things, these feelings where then the granddaughter has the baby, but the granddaughter never tells me and they don't, and they do this, and then all this, you get all this drama around some issues, and you take a look at the people who are going through this, and you go, well, you know what? This isn't my deal. I'm not playing in that game anymore.
Right.
And I pray for them and wish them well. But one of the hardest things right now with everything changing so much, use this. Don't back away from it, because you have a future. circulation, giving and receiving. Okay, outflow, inflow. Okay, another fundamental universal axiom is number 6, cause and effect. So now if we're going to look at our future, this is what we need.
These axioms that we're talking about, and I'm going to review those again when we're done. We go to the number 7, but we're going to hop over to this other list of insights. Did you generated these, the first one?
No, I stole them from somewhere, but I like them. I mean, I give them credit, but I don't remember exact words.
Right.
But I try and put things in brackets and give it here, but I just thought it was, so
it's good.
Some
so
sentence.
We thank the source of these insights that you have.
Yes, whoever you are, may you prosper on and on and on. Yes, exactly. Okay, good,
right?
yeah.
So we're great. So number 1 is, this is related to people if they want to build something, if they want to build their business, if they want to, live their purpose, if they want to embody more of all this good energy we're talking about. Number 1 is, don't strive for size, strive to serve your purpose.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, now everybody, if you've been following us or you did anything with, remember the 8 steps to spiritual and earthly riches, that was Substack, and then Marie, and we did the blog. She had the blogs, and it's there. It was all about really your purpose and mission, and so that's been covered there. And the first thing though is, and I know that too, like being a minister and a preacher and a pastor of a church, people are always used to counting the number of people in the congregation. Well, are they up? Are they down? Are they left? And it's like, if you're always counting how many people showed up. I remember one time, the least ever, well, I've had those where nobody, but I mean, the least ever was 1. So I just sat down. We had a wonderful time.
That's the same thing. I mean, in our day and age now, people look at how many likes. The system's designed to get the thumbs up and the thumbs down and how many views and, right, who was on the live call, how many were there. And you miss the point. People miss the point when that's where their energy is going, right? They're not present.
Well, what they're doing will increase the viewership and therefore the money or attention they want, but it will never be enough because they're hooked into the more consciousness. My second book, which was How to Have More in a Have-Not World, which was a New York Times #1 bestseller, and it's really good because I did write it a lot in where I was in those times. It's really great steps. But I wrote it How to Have in a Have-Not World. The publishers added more. And that's because people, see, if you have enough, you don't need more.
Right.
But people, because if you are enough, you're not striving to be more. You might be striving to develop more of who you are.
So we're talking about these things that can help empower people when they're building. They're using these axioms of awareness, absolute truth, basically, right?
Yes.
And
to help us.
To help us, right? And so you wanted to bring into our conversation today these insights that you did receive from that wonderful soul that created them. So number 1 was don't strive for size, strive to serve your purpose. The second one is know your strengths and put them to work.
That's right. And know your weaknesses. And what I built my ministry on these. That's why I like them. Because I did the mind, but I also somehow knew about God and was always turning it over. And by divine magic, things were happening.
Beautiful. But you're saying it's like you know your strengths and basically embody and empower them put them to work. And then, have awareness of your weaknesses so that they can't be played against you, right?
Exactly.
If you embody both, then you can't be played.
You know what that's called? That's called discernment. See, when people tell you, "Oh, you can't discern things. You can't say that's this and that because we're all the same." Well, we're the same and different. And this is what was the real snap when I popped to really get Oh, yeah, that was the missing clue and link that linked me to the love and the joy, what I'm working on with what. Yeah. And that was a Chincha Beta Beta Tattva, it's called. And it means that we are inconceivably, that means no thought, there's no word, no thought, and simultaneous, that means immediately, consistently, all the time together. So we are inconceivably, simultaneously the same as God and each other, and different.
You said that's in the Vedic teachings. That
yes.
means ultimately, so if we're the same
Bhagavad
and
Gita.
different.
Yeah, because it's logical and you can follow it and you can prove it to yourself. It makes spiritual divine stuff. Yeah. And so
I was thinking of you the other day. If I could say this for just a second, I was working with somebody who was really in a low place yesterday because they felt like they had no connection with God, that they couldn't find that connection, and that they were distressed, that they felt like they were in such a low place that God was outside of them.
Yeah, but some people who've taken these medications of whatever we want to call them or whatever, one of the things they go for is that the glands that for the body keep you connected. That's why she needs to go beyond the mind, but she needs to ask God. She hasn't asked God to show up.
And is that part of the Achintya Beta Beta Tattva? Is that part of what that is, or that's something different?
No. Part of what it means is, well, yeah, in a sense, it means that all of us we have the same, you and I have the same amount, you might say, of spiritual life, spirit soul. But whatever, and the Vedas say we're 10,000 of us can fit on the end of a piece of hair. But we are brighter than 10,000 suns. But we emanate light. We're not light bodies. I've seen my real body. It's not a light body. It's beautiful. And everyone has that. And that body's there. But the mental reality called the false ego body and all of this is what has been put together. What this physical reality offers spirit souls to enter it, to play it, to project it, to be involved in it. And really, so that's what reincarnation is to set the person up to when it degenerates, to be young again, to be a baby again, to start the process again, to get, because of what they can get from us at all levels, because we're the magic. I wanted with this work thing is that in this world too, money, is what money's changing. And what happens is, mothers, women, you and I know what magic is. You don't make it up. You have to harmonize yourself with the principles, very basic principles. And I highly recommend Rabbi Shmuel Shmuel Asher, Asher's book, and his work, The Land of Meat and Honey, and how we originally are and should be vegetarians, because first of all, you could tell by the body structure and the intestines and the teeth, it's just right there. But most people, they don't look. There's no beginning, you might say, to ignorance, but there is an end.
Well, that's profound right there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. In fact, my book, Dare to Be Great, is a wonderful, it tells all these stories, but I originally labeled it, Every Saint Has a Past, Every Sinner a Future.
Oh, nice. That's good.
But some people claim that they wouldn't believe in sinners, so I thought we changed it to Dare to Be Great. But greatness is to be who you are, not beating your chest. But if we know and be who we are in harmony and balance, and we are no longer victims of anyone or anything in this world, but we also, what you may say, is we fulfill our divine destiny
Yes.
and are living that way now. And it doesn't matter where people are, where anybody is, what house, what this or that, because it's within, God's within you.
And
Others
that's
are
where
better
people
than
like
you.
flicker into the matrix, but they can also they can also step outside of it by ascending their consciousness, right?
Well, the matrix is just based on cause and effect. That's all. That's not spiritual reality. That's our projection. So what you're looking at all the time is what your consciousness is projecting this, not so much where and as, but who you are and how you feel, and right where you are and what you're doing. You see, like with things coming up with everybody, is how will you have the money, or what is going to be used as money? How are you going to help people with what they need, with what they're going through, with your particular talents? And that's what I'm working with people as mentors, as a mentor for people, because of our being able to build a support system around ourselves with those people who are, we might say, we have them on retainer.
Yes.
That will help us. Yes. With our certain things, there are certain deals, like you would have your healing professionals that you trust,
Yes.
And of course you would also research that, because it's changing all the time.
And we all have these things. We're all coming through so much.
Yes.
And we have stuff coming up. We have a lot of stuff coming up.
So let's go to those steps and read them down, because because they're important, because you've got work to do. You're an eternal being. And when you're harmonious with your purpose and your mission, first of all, you're happy.
Yes. And you're aligned.
Yes. You're aligned. Okay. Yes.
So I'll read this list, and then why don't you, after I read the 10, I'm going to go back and just read it again. So don't strive for size. Strive to serve your purpose. Number 2, know your strengths and put them to work. Number 3, communicate your message, products, and services and their value in every possible way. Number 4, make it appealing, then make it challenging. I like that one. I want to go back to that one. Number 5, design your life around your spirituality. Number 6, create participants, not members. Number 7, connect the students and the clients. Number 8, whatever you do, do it with excellence, the best you can. Number 9, empower people to identify and live out their calling. And number 10, your work isn't just for newcomers. Make your work available at various levels, given the needs and consciousness of your students and customers. There's a lot there. It's such there's so much energy, and like to hear that you were using these principles so early on.
You can get them. Why don't you have them, if they want the copies of those two, they have to email you and you'll send them to them.
Yes, and I would be happy to do that. And so what's so powerful?
It's just on there. The Hermetic Axioms, I'm not the inventor of this at all. It's just because I'm a questioner. I'm a spiritual seeker. I'm a sleuth. I love that word. A sleuth.
Yes, a sleuth.
So for a while, to develop my sleuthing skills, I loved Miss Marple and Sherlock Holmes and what was the other guy, the other goofball? But because they solved these mysteries, see, and So it's very interesting.
You've been doing that most of your life. You've been doing that.
Well, I didn't realize. I would question things.
Right.
I know.
So,
I remember
the hummingbird
thinking,
looking for the nectar, though. That's what you were doing. You're the hummingbird, and in speaking, you're finding the nectar. Yeah.
I'm looking for the nectar because I'm a nectar buzzard. That means I'm hunting for where is the greatest pleasure. And so when I got to where that was with my work in the theater of church, but also with services and training people and classes, I'd have classes with 800 people in them and everything like that. And it was, and I had 5 teaching centers, 4 or 5, I don't know. Anyway, it was great, all that, but it came from just not having any education in business or any kind of thing like that, I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't even bounce my checkbook. It did, but I somehow made it. I don't know, because I was using divine magic. You see.
Yeah.
You name it and claim it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And remember the one I said that I was visualizing when I was first starting. I had this little book for 10 cents on how to visualize it, and I would visualize my mailbox being full of checks made out to me. Well, I didn't have a job at the time, and I didn't know what my life's work was at the time, but I know I needed to prosper, and I was going to the church, Science of Mind, which is really cool because it was some, certain level of metaphysics, which we're talking here, cause and effect, basic outflow, inflow. Everything works that way in relationship, you see. So anyway, so that I would visualize that and get the feeling of it. And I get into the feeling. What would that feel like? And I go there, and there was nothing in there for me. Pretty soon I realized I was probably too small, thinking too small. So I visualized the mail truck driving up to my house with gray bags filled with envelopes, mail with checks made out to me. Well, I did that for a while and got the feeling of it and did the thing and stuff, and go out there wouldn't be anything there. Okay. So anyway, I just kind of forgot about it. 13 years later.
Wow.
Almost $7 million came in the mail with checks made out to me.
Wow. I love it.
But it was for the ministry, because it took that long. Because in that path, it was the same thing. I visualized my life's work because I didn't know what it was. So I would visualize myself talking to my mom on her boat, and her little blue scarf around her head, and telling my mom, "Oh, Mom, I have the greatest work. It's my life's work. I'm there. I could be home with the girls. I could meet wonderful people. It's my life's work. It serves God. It uses my talents and abilities, and so I would see myself and my mom say, "Oh, Terry, I'm so happy, darling. That's wonderful." Of course, what I would tell her what I was doing, she said, "Terry, get real, get a job." I said, "But I'm visualizing, Mom."
I know. I think a lot of people listening can relate who have great visions.
Yeah, but you do have to do something. But it wasn't that, because it wasn't the result so much. Because once you get to the result, and it's there, but it truly is the process, because when you set something out way beyond where you are, just like right now, what's going on in the world, there has to be divine intervention, because there's all these people with minds. And you've got the war mind. You've got that fixed in a left brain filing system of competition, of the sides fighting. Where can we align? We can align here. First, we need to do as mothers. I love your children, and I want your family healthy and happy, and you following your spiritual path. And I call on all mothers to do that within their hearts, and also to then bring forth the truth of who you really are, and bring that nature and your qualities, and develop that, and start really activate you, because the acknowledging the Mother Earth as the mother of everyone here is their bodies. You see,
yes.
And she's a being. She's a being. Yes.
Yes.
And you don't have to worry about her. It's not the way you've been told it is at all.
Right.
The other one is ahimsa. And that, I have found, is when people fall away because they cannot give up the taste of blood and flesh of a living entity who has a mother who loves her children. Oh my God. And who gives her life for them. And the acknowledgement of the Divine Mother, the Goddess, the precious soul. And that is acknowledging the Divine Father, the precious lover and protector and maintainer.
Yes.
And partner of the Divine Mother.
It is the mind that tricks us and makes everything so complicated, because it's everything you just described it's already inside us. It's all the other
That's
stuff
right.
that's clouding our perceptions and making us envy
you
and
gotta
all
be,
the other things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Project all these things, and you're going to strut around like this. You're going to wait a minute. You want the goodies? They don't have any goodies. There's, I was there. I looked at my life. I thank God. Thank you. I'm going to say this as a for people. I was saved by the Hare Krishnas in San Diego. These sweet souls came to my church, took pity on me. Obviously, could see where I was headed. And they asked me if they could come over and share with me the Bhagavad Gita. And
wow.
because I was a very open person, I acknowledged them at church and everything. And I didn't really understand it, but I sure liked the pictures.
Yeah. Wow.
They expanded my awareness big time, the artwork, because they're like windows into another realm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And your soul recognized it, stepped right in, right? Yes.
Absolutely.
But you knew it was something that you knew already.
Yes. Well, they gave me. Well, yes, they gave me the Bhagavad Gita. Well, I didn't really understand it, and I did show up at one of their church where everybody sat on the floor and ate food, and it was fine. I was learning because I was just brand new. But then what happened was at one point, then when I went to India. And I went to the Taj Mahal. And first of all, on the road from Agra, or New Delhi, to then Taj Mahal, past Vrindavan, where's a place where Krishna stories are. And that it's really beautiful. It's changed a lot now, but I haven't been there in a long time. But anyway, above it, I could see a circle. I didn't know what it was, but like a circle. It looked like little angels all in a circle above the town, above the town. That was interesting. I just noticed things. And I don't believe stuff. I just notice, and the only thing that are validated is what I can validate by my own observation and experience, you see. And even that could be changed by some kind of chemical or thing. So, but what you know. And that's, you have to know where's the basic I can count on at any time, anywhere. And that is God is with you. And you are with God right now. And what happens is a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that because they want to be God. And you have God qualities, but those qualities are compassion. That's the Divine Mother. You're basically a servant of the Divine Mother. And to be in harmony with Mother Earth, and then be in harmony with the nature of who we are, because before we can transcend being human, we have to return to what's human, which is, and it's not what we've been taught. We're not vicious and mean, but this is made this way, and people say, I have to survive, so they'll take a job, but they're going to get the karma. That's the way it is. That is the way it is. That's what's going on in the world right now, is the karma.
Well, this is also an example of like the mind will find ways to justify, but the heart knows. It just knows what's right.
But either side is controlled by the same people. So any side you go to, the same puppet masters are holding the strings because they have to, because it keeps the pain moving. So this Achincha Beta Beta Tattva I talked about before, what it means is you and I aren't just the same, we're also different. That's why the whole thing of equality is a con. Because
like you said.
It's a concept. It's cheating. Because that's why you cannot solve problems with thinking.
Yeah.
Because thinking creates more problems. That's why you take the knowledge and you apply it and get it. You grok it. You get it. You apply it. And what happens is the more you focus and get your mind there, the happier you are, the more creative you are, because creativity is in the moment right now. We're not thinking. Thinking is mental. Not thinking is the mother, and it is the knowing. And it is also the source of all wisdom.
Yes.
You see that, and that's what old wives' tale should be looked into, because at least they were old. They made it to some point. So it's like, not for no reason at all.
No.
But you see people, they don't know what to do. I have different names. One of my names is Gorilla Granny. I don't tell anybody. And you can join, but we don't have members, but we have participants. So that's, and I think we should make badges. So everybody wants a badge, but you have to be incognito, so you can't really put a badge on. I'm a Gorilla Granny or Grandpa. I'm doing good deeds without asking permission. So
that's
when
cool.
you have something to do, buddy. I don't.
Well, we've done we read through a lot of the things for finding success with sort of building new projects, our businesses, really putting our heart and spirit and soul into what we're doing, and not looking for the numbers or counting the number of likes and things like that, but really being motivated by spirit for spirit. That's what I feel you're talking about. And
it is because my talk isn't popular, and I'll tell you why. It's because, you always think it is, and when they even say in these great teachings, ancient teachings that are so amazing, is that most people don't want them. And you think, why not? My God, it's so much fun, it's so easy, it's so joyful, it's so loving.
When we drop all the rest of the stuff, that humility is what emerges. It's underneath everything else.
And great appreciation.
Yes.
And awe.
Yes.
And wonder of the perfection of every moment. Oh my God. Something, I tell you, when I was in Glastonbury, England, and Victoria and all that kind of, it's really cool. I bought these dowsing rods that were copper with handles that swivel so you can't control them. Yes. And I have thought I must have left one in Mount Shasta. I couldn't find it. I found it today. It was in another drawer. And it was like, wow! But maybe it wasn't there. Maybe it manifested. I don't know.
You pulled it through the portal of time.
I did that with a wallet in the guy's glove compartment of his car.
Right. You've told that story.
I told you that one, because I don't care how he got it there. I just saw it there, and finally when it worked, later he told me he had then put it there. I don't care how you got there. I didn't tell God how to do it. You put it there. That's how God did it.
It would still be lost if you guys hadn't done what you did, which is to call it back.
Listen, in one of the dimensions hanging out, and someone goes, what's this?
What's this? Exactly. I know. I love that when if stuff is missing, I just ask it to reappear and make itself known.
Yes, if it wants to.
Everybody has stuff that comes up for us, right? And it can be a positive change that, catalyzes new growth, or it can be, I don't know.
Well, it can always be. If you have to always use it. Because when you do, even what you call failure will be a success, because you never fail. It's impossible.
Right.
You can't.
Right. Someone said failure is just success that hasn't manifested yet. Something like that.
Well, it's a clue.
Yes, it's a clue.
It's a clue of something you maybe need to do or not do.
Right.
Or is it really what you want, or is it work, or is it like when some things start? But again, just because it doesn't work the first time doesn't mean quit. And that's something I gave up, like how your patterns follow on every level. So opening a jar. If I really couldn't get it open, then I give it up. Instead of, no, work at it, or give it to Michael. Or you get the clamp. Don't give it. Do it, and it will work. It'll pop. Yes. And I did that. The whole thing when oh my God, I remember in Walking on Fire, and then also breaking 12 by 1 inch wood, with my hand, and then also taking these a rebar with those metal bars, for cement, holding cement and stuff like that.
Yes.
And putting it on my throat and the other person on the other side, and it had a deer skin behind to protect my throat. and walking towards that person and not giving up, and the rebar bends in the middle. But hardly anybody will do that because they'll doubt, they give up.
Wow. It is. It's like it's a fitness, isn't it? It's like a deep divine fitness inside yourself. Yeah, that you know
you have to be that. Yes, you know what you know. But also, it's also, you have to also watch what our weaknesses are in both male and female bodies.
And transcending, and we talked about
That's
words
right.
in the very beginning, and transcending is transcending. It's ending the trance that we've all been in.
Yeah. Yep.
And so
that was so good. Yeah, and let them know if they want a copy of this, or you get my book, Live Your Bliss. It has Hermetic. I teach about that. But remember, it's got basic out here is cause and effect. And that the inner is where you need to work, and to be who you are, you have to be. If you want to be God conscious, you have to be or communicate with Source or conscious. You have to have that consciousness. It's already there, just like within the seed of the plant of an apple tree. Is that apple tree with the thousands and perhaps millions of apples and the bazillions of seeds that one seed will produce. And the mind is a soil, and that is the feminine is really the soul is the soil, which is the soul also, S-O-L, sun, the energy of creation. You put a seed in and it grows that. I don't know how.
We're the garden.
That's right. We're producers of the garden. But in this world, we've been the fruit of the garden, because remember, the book with written and researched by Rabbi Shmuel Asher, The Land of Meat and Honey, and all of that stuff, shows you that the apple, it's not an apple. That's their take. Remember, Yeshua came from living in India and studying, and then with that realization, coming back and bringing the thing that God is within you. You don't need a savior outside yourself. Right. Blah, blah, blah. God is not evil. Speak your word. You remember, open sesame is open sesame. What he told the guy with laying on the bed that came down, his friends carried him. He said, the steps. Here were the steps. Be joyful. Be joyful. Now pick up your bed and get out of here. So he did. He wasn't happy. So why is he not happy? Because he's not surrendered to God. Because he's worried. When you surrender to Source within, you're not worried. Why should you worry?
No.
What to worry about? Nothing.
Right. It's the mind that worries, but the soul doesn't. It's not worried.
That's right. That's why you have to take it over. That's right. And you have to do this. I used to, when I lived in LA in that area, I remember down in Marina Del Rey, I would spend 2 or 3 hours chanting, walking from the Santa Monica Bridge to the jetty, down there, and up and down, and chanting. But I didn't focus. My mind was everywhere. That's how it is, to control the mind. That's why meditation is very important. And when they say these people don't have attention, they have it on what they like or want to watch. And the mind is not created for spiritual purposes. So it doesn't know anything about the spirit. And that's why it's not happy. So you have to train your mind. Train your dragon.
Train your dragon. That's right. I know a lot of people listening to this can relate to that, right? I think, and you have said it, you didn't say it today, but you've said it many times before, that the mind is one of the greatest bioweapons that there ever was. And we have to just begin to recognize that when it's untamed and untrained, it's not our friend.
That's right. I have to look at what's the problem here and what's the solution. Yeah. And what do you get to? Everybody has a mother. And any animal that has a mother. Do you know what those elephants do? You know what the giraffes do? You know what? All these when their children die, the animals will even show up when the guy that was their helper passes to pay their last respects, and no one ever even told them.
They know.
Yeah.
They know. There's
all of them do, because they have a soul. They're like us. The Vedas teach this. You go through reincarnation. When you now have a human body, you don't know what you're going to get next, but it's going to be your karma.
Yes.
And there is a way to end karma, but you cannot tell people because it can't be done that way. But from now on, you have to look and how it is. But the real, there's a lot that goes on. But it's a cathartic thing to really realize the things you've been part of and are still that cause pain and suffering. Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's a wild experience and really beautiful to witness something that you have been a participant or a member in, and recognize that it wasn't what you thought it was, or you were engaged in something that you thought was cool. And
That's right.
That's not. And
that's exactly.
Walk yourself out of those experiences. Walk yourself out of the membership.
But also, not that you didn't have some ownership in it, but the whole thing is you've been conned.
Yes.
You've been conned. But why were we conned? Because of lack of discernment and lack of our connection with Source. Because we got called into running after, being attracted to objects of our senses to enjoy. And you don't have to renounce things. Use things in your devotional service and your life's work.
Yes.
So, and be appreciative. Like at least say, appreciation of the food you're eating. But how about like in Bali, everybody outside in their homes, they have like a little place where they put an offering place for the nature spirits.
Wow.
You see? And
beautiful.
Nature spirits, and then both the Vedic shaman work and also the Essenes, who were supposedly, they were some of the original Hebrews, because Yeshua was an Essene, Nazareth. Yeah. That was an Essene place, you see? And so, when you at least appreciate that, and they would put little food out there for the little birds and the butterflies and whoever, little sweet things, but in the energy field. And in one of the things I actually do when I have a fireplace, but I also do have some little copper burning bowls that are really cool, is you put the fire in, and then you put in the ghee, and then you put in the grains, and what you're doing is you're offering them into the mouth of God. And by feeding Source, that is also food for all the nature spirits. Because when people don't acknowledge it, because this is a mystical place. Mother Earth is a mystical, magical location, eternal. And you cannot harm or hurt her. But doesn't mean you get to keep trying and do that. That's your problem. You'll live in that.
Yes.
Because when you will come back to what you left behind.
Which is the great motivator for us.
Get going, buddy. Don't panic, but you better get going.
You better get going. Oh, well, it is always so wonderful to talk to you. We talked about a lot of things, the Hermetic Axioms.
Yeah.
And these insights for a different level of like spiritual fulfillment in the work that we came to do.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'm just going to close with something I was going to open with, but it's a reminder that I'm going to bring through again in subsequent podcasts. You wrote this in your book called Love and Power in a World Without Limits. And you said this is the first, basically, couple sentences, first paragraph. And I think I wanted to close with this and could have opened with this, but it's something we're all going through. And you wrote about this 30 years ago. Humanity is at an obvious crossroads at this time, wondering what is coming next. We can't go back technologically, and we can't continue to pollute our environment, drain our natural resources, or push our planet to extinction. Many aspects of our lives are at a point where we must choose a new way of being that contributes to all people and to our earth in a way that brings love, peace, happiness, health, wealth, and enlightenment. And by enlightenment, I mean the awareness of making one's decisions and choices consciously in the highest interest of all concerned. And I feel when you were talking about the copper bowl and making, cooking and honoring the nature spirits and all of these things, we are at a crossroads where the invitation is to connect. The invitation is to come back into our hearts and to leave the trap of the mind that will never quit. And like you said, it just creates more webs of entanglements. And I truly resonate with so many of the beautiful things that you share. You have been teaching this for a long time, and you have grown in your journey that I know you've written all these books. And even though you've grown and studied so many ways and so many things over the years, but that is still true. You published that book, I looked up, in 1989, the version I have.
That's right. That's right.
And it's still the case today. We are still at an obvious crossroads. And people are invited to get back to the source, the beginning, the truth, the absolute. And you give us tools to do that.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. And then we pass that on to our people who want it. But here's another thing, is one of the challenges is you have something really wonderful and you want everybody to have it, especially people you love. But they tend to always see you the way they were, or basically through their own mind, whatever that is, and where they are, and what they're whatever, and they don't know you, or have that sense of even be interested. Some of our closest people, and you want so much for them to have it, but if they don't want it, that's why it's not a good idea to try and force things on people or try and demand that they do things. It's like they've got to learn from our own example.
Yes.
And why not? Because if this stuff we like is so good, then live it. Otherwise, it's just blah, 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 blah.
It's more stuff in our head, stuff in, books that collect dust or whatever. And we want to put it to good use. Right. We are the creators. That's part of our seeds that can create the gardens literally of our lives. So
that's right.
Well, thank you. Thank you for all the gems that you can continue to share with me and with our audience. You're so beautiful.
Yes, and so have anybody, any questions you have and things that you want to be working on, because we're looking at how you are prospering now in changing times. This is what,
prospering in changing times. I like that.
Yes, that's what we're doing. So that's actually the name of the book I've been writing on for years that keeps changing its title.
What?
Yeah, it was Prospering Choices, but actually, I think Prospering in Changing Times is really good.
I think that
that's because you're at the basis. Who and what can you count on any and all circumstances?
Right. Yes.
And the problem, when you think money is God, that says money will give me what I want when God doesn't. If God's not giving it to you, maybe you shouldn't have it. It might not be a good idea. Better check it out. Because what you give out, you're going to get back. It's going to happen to you that you did to somebody or not. And it's making the amends if you can, but getting some knowledge to how to harmonize yourself, at least as a human. And then as you recognize the next level of a divine being, you're a God particle. You are the embodiment of love. You are absolute love, beauty, harmony, joy, creativity, and to honor the woman, that feminine nature. And everyone can have that. And it was very ancient Egyptian thing that Carmen Bolter wrote about in her really wonderful book, The Pyramid Code, that men and women were very balanced. and how they work together, harmonious and appreciative and loving of both. And they both then would enjoy those qualities, you see. They gain from each other and everything. And then Akhenaten came, who was a hybrid. He had the cone head. He did not have a skull like ours. He had no sagittal suture down the middle. And some of the ones left here of his, they're still here. Very interesting. And it meant into the all-male God, you see, and of force and war. Caused a lot of trouble and was basically kicked out of Egypt. And were the precursor of these other paths. But highly, the land of meat and honey. I'm telling you, it'll wake a lot of people up. It's excellent. And let yourself be challenged, people. Let your mind be blown every day.
Yes. Yes. I know. Well, some people might, hear that and say that sounds a little bit scary, but the truth is it becomes like exhilarating. It becomes amazing.
It's fun. Yes,
fun.
You're curious. There's nothing to lose.
Because you get to live life in this energy of awe of how incredible creation is. Yeah, it's absolutely.
It's actually awful, full of awe. So that's a good word.
It's a good word, isn't it? Right?
Awful. Woohoo! Full of awe.
Oh, well, thank you, Terry, so much for joining me today.
I love you. You're so wonderful. You're the best. I want everybody to work with you because you just, I've met lots and lots and lots and lots of people. I worked with lots and lots and lots of people that you know how to track with consciousness. You're cool. Really cool. Yeah, I love you. And the heart and everything. And helping others and everything. Absolutely.
Right.
And
we live it. We both live it. Yep.
That's right.
Live it. And you can find Terry, I should say. I'll put the links in the description section.
Oh, thank you. You're so
sweet. You can find Terry on Substack, and you can find her at terrycolewhittaker.com. So
and then click the YouTube video. Michael's put up 200 just since we've been here in the last couple of years. Yeah.
Wow. You have so many great videos that are just short clips
on topic. Oh, he's so good at it. He's so good at how he does it, and he's studying more about sound and this and that. Tries to tell me I don't have a clue what he's talking about, but I really like hearing him because he tells it so good.
Right?
Yeah, because he's smart. Well, he's a genius. Yeah.
You guys are quite a team. Because
we are.
The messages
Oh my God! I know. Wow. But you know what it is? You have to allow each other to be who they are and do what they do.
Yes.
And then don't interfere in their deal.
Yeah. There it is. Don't interfere with their deal. And that's a wrap, right?
Bye.
Bye. Love you, Terry.
Love you
we'll
too.
talk again soon. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye.